the moment.
Don't forget Sandman. Final game. It goes to the far outside too. They're off the turn. Here comes Journalism. Here comes Sovereignty. And they square off, heading to the final furlong of the Kentucky Derby. Final Gambit and Baeza trying to close in late. Sovereignty has taken the lead. Journalism has to fight back. Journalism has lost a lead to Sovereignty. It's time for the Royal Blue to don some red. Sovereignty wins the Derby.
And the Royal Blue has been dominant all around the world. As we welcome inside the studio, it is Jeff and it is Elisa. Check out this resume for Godolphin this weekend, okay? I know. So they win the Oaks on Friday, the 2,000 guineas yesterday morning. They win the Derby and then won the 1,000 guineas this morning.
Crazy. And, you know, I really like Godolphin for a number of reasons. Obviously, the horses that they have, but they have a really great program afterwards. They're very, very responsible with the horses that they've bred. They have the Flying Start program, but really, you know, for those of you who take on horses after their racing careers are over, Godolphin has an amazing aftercare program.
Yeah, congratulations goes out to them and to Bill Mott and Junior Alvarado as well. I think for Bill, this is a second Derby, but the first one, he got through DQ with Country House. He had to wait like 25 minutes for the inquiry. I just think this one, it feels more real, I think.
Sure. Yeah, well, that was the thing. After when they won, they said the last time you won, you had to wait 25 minutes to find out that you won the Kentucky Derby. But, you know, everybody here is just so happy for Bill Mott because he's the master. You know, he's the man, right? So very exciting. We're going to take you back through that race a little bit later on as well because, man, did they have to deal with some sloppy conditions.
They did, and there was havoc out of the starting gates. Right, the inside horse cut off a bunch of horses. The winner actually had a bit of an eventful trip that we'll talk about a little bit later on the broadcast as well. I'm waiting all day to say this to you as well. Do you know what it is?
No.
May the 4th be with you. And if you're looking for a hunch play, it is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you is the Dam of Patches O'Houlihan.
Unbelievable. Dun, dun, dun. Unbelievable. I wonder if he's the best bet today for Ron. Just kidding, Ron. Love you.
So we'll talk about Patches O'Houlihan a little bit more in depth. Ron's best bet was victorious yesterday. We'll go back to the Whimsical Stakes presented by Crown Royal and Earhart. Here at Woodbine, she has been, in a word, awesome.
Yeah, and you know what we noticed yesterday too when she came over? I thought she's grown up a lot. You know, she's still a beautiful animal. And when you see her up close, she's got a massive foot on her too, Jeff. So we're kind of thinking grass.
And you know what, too? Early on the program, it was all off the pace horses.
Yeah, it sure was.
And then it changed with, I think it was Lucky
Guest.
Yes, Lucky Guest. That was the Cassie horse. Then it came a little bit more speedy. But certainly the first half of the card, it was horses coming from off the pace. Average win payout was $10.09. But there's a look at how the track played. I actually have two closers winning on the program yesterday. I have Stolen winning, and somebody else came from last yesterday to win.
Let's do the Luna. You had that one too.
Yeah. So I have two closers winning on the card yesterday. But that's just how, you know, different people see the track differently.
Well, plus opening weekend, it was all speed. So, you know, you're coming into the next weekend and you're thinking maybe it'll be a speed track again.
Yeah. And here's a look at Earhart. And this was not a fair fight for everybody else.
No, and she, you know, has continued to stamp herself as an absolute monster. And this is actually her very first stakes win. It's hard to believe. Right? Because she broke her maiden here. She came back. She won the A other then. And then she went down for a stake at Turfway. But back home here, she is a dominating force in this year's Grade 3 Whimsical. So congratulations goes out to the Connections, Ellen J. Foxwoods, Josie Carroll, who was down at Churchill yesterday, and of course, Rafael Hernandez, who got off the Schneid in race number 1 on the program for Kevin with Zippy Gamble. That was his second winner on the day yesterday.
Yeah, great for Rafi. So obviously, you want to win the big one, the Whimsical.
Sure
he did. And I'd love to know, and I'll never know the feeling because I'm too fat and too tall to what it would feel like to ride a horse like that.
I'm going to take you out to the barn this summer. You're going to come for a riding lesson whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll probably go in like 5 kilometers an hour. Be like, too fast!
I told you. We got some old racehorses there you can get on. It'll be a lot of fun.
Let's see how the clocker did this morning and find out how fast horses working this morning as we catch up with Ernie Perry's summary of the clocker reports. And he said the track slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, this is interesting, Jeff, because so far we've only seen him rate the track as a 4 or a 4.5. And now we're seeing him rating the track as a 3.5. So, you know, we're trying to figure that out along with all of you. So, you know, one of the things he said was that inside speed did better. Now, yesterday he said it had a slight edge, the inside, But this is you're telling me this track was a 3.5 and you get a work like this? Wow, 46-1. So how much better is that work in actuality?
And it just seems like it's Kevin Attard all the time with the horses to watch. Yesterday gave us a 2-year-old to keep an eye on. Now DeWolf, we know very, very well around these parts, and worked at 46-1, fastest of 108 horses that worked out. And I was talking about this the other day with some people too, and the track has been so fast for works, and they say, yeah, the times they're fast. I said the one thing you got to look at, especially on Saturdays and Sundays, is the ranking.
That's true.
Because if everybody's working 57 or everybody's working 47, then you got to look. Like if it's one of 108, that's obviously good. But if it's 107 of 108, then it's not
You know what
good.
I like to hear too? That's 108 workers.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, we knew that opening weekend would be a little quiet, right? Because it was a horrible winter. You know, we saw a nice group of horses yesterday. This is the best card we've had so far. We have some really big fields on today's program, and I think some tough handicapping today too.
Yeah, this is the toughest card so far.
I would agree.
Stopwatch time.
And guess who's got to try and pick the winners? Lucky
You
me.
ready to get the stopwatch going?
Okay.
You ready to be put
I'm
to the
ready.
test?
I'm ready, buddy.
All righty, here we go. If you're not familiar, this is the part of the interruption style of the broadcast in here, and we're starting off with topic 1, and this is the pick 4. And you and I, it wasn't heated, our debate.
Oh, no, it's never heated, Jeff.
But we had a tough time kind of narrowing down a little bit.
Yeah, like, you know how they only give us 2 minutes? We would have needed 4 minutes if you wanted us to put it together on the spot. Because this first leg, we agreed we wanted to hit the all button.
Yeah, this
right?
is an all burger all day long.
Tough race to sort out. The 5th race on the program, though, you know, we have to get a little braver because we are going to hit the all button in the opener on the program. We've got to get a little braver and find a possible key.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if we're going to take a look at the ticket now, Mike. Is that what we're doing? Okay, we are. Perfect. Okay, so our key comes up in the 5th, and this is... you know, some keys, they go into the lock so smoothly, and you turn it, and it just opens up perfectly. This lock, you have to, like, this key to jimmy it in a little bit. You got to turn it. You got to pull the door in a little bit.
Right? You're right. You're 100% right. Like, we use the horse as a key... stubbornly.
With not a lot of certainty.
With not a lot of certainty. It's only because we need to go deep in the first leg. So the 5th race, we are going to key at Test Station.
Yes,
and then the 6th race on the program, again, you know, Jeff and I...
Only too deep in that one.
Yeah, but Kevin, hello, you got to use him all the time. And he's got Little Red Dommy here in that race. And we like that one. And we like Awesome Bourbon
yeah, so
as
too
well.
deep in there. And then we're going to wrap it up. We're going to go 4 deep in the last. Boy, I'd love to be alive going into the last. The 7th, both you and I are big fans of this Regal Guess. Remember how big he was last year? I'm curious to see if he's as big this year. Well, obviously he hasn't shrunk, but...
No, well, he's Pink Lloyd's brother too,
Pink
you know,
Lloyd,
like that's pretty exciting, right? And then Awesome Rainbow, I want to use him as well because, you know, I think he got himself into a little bit of a jackpot in the Frost King last season, and with a different trip, he might have actually won that race last season, so we'll use that.
And your Valentino, the winter race horse, we want to toss in the mix of things there too. So 11.20, that's what we're going to play for 20 cents.
We didn't even talk about Shadow Realm. We want to put that one in.
First time gelding as well.
Yep, Pietro. I think, you know, Pietro had a quiet day yesterday, but he had a really great opening weekend. Yeah. He should have a pretty
So if you're not familiar with the tickets, Lisa and I, we play the tickets together. We split them. And do you know what your tab's at?
Well, let me check.
You're still positive.
90 cents?
90 cents. Regardless of what happens today, you still have a 90-cent credit.
But if we hit today, we're going to hit good, I feel like. Especially if we get a long shot in the first leg.
I like it. I like it. Okay, let's get to some evidence, Your Honor. let's take a look at exhibit number 2, which is topic number 2. And this is the 5th. We're going to go 5.5 furlongs. And one thing, if you're ever presenting a case to Judge Jeff Bratt, what you have to do is, I need like DNA, video evidence, fingerprints. I need telephone recordings. Like, you have to prove your case to me. So this is, you are the prosecutor now, and you have to build your case as to why Willie Theranos is going to win this race with the number 2 horse here today.
Jeff, you don't make it easy on me, do you? Okay, so I'll try and pass the bar with this one. Here's the last race from Attest Station. Now, this is the only horse in this event who raced on opening weekend. Actually, there's 2 horses on today's card, I think, that are coming back in after racing on opening weekend. And this is the first April 27th event. Now, watch him here. He does get himself into a little bit of trouble. We're watching the 5 horse. He gets behind some horses, and then he shakes loose. But, you know, maybe we could say it was a slightly a traffic-marred trip for him. Comes closing really well, I think, to end up finishing in the 3rd place spot. So a nice little late rally for him, going 5/8. It goes 5.5 today. today, and guess what? He drops from 15,000 in for 7,500. That's the winning move with this horse. You get Jeffrey Alderson back aboard here again today. I feel a little bit better about it, knowing that Ron has this horse on top as well, because look, as much as I pick on Ron, I really do trust his handicapping skills. That makes me feel good about this horse, because the more I kind of look at this race, Jeff, I don't see who is the possible second place horse.
Yeah.
I mean, I think maybe Theranos' other horse, Coherence, could be a second place finisher, but I very rarely see Amanda riding for him. So, maybe she's galloping for him in the morning, and here's an opportunity. But the other thing that that we're not feeling so hot on is My Sunny Valentine from yesterday. Now, if he had run better, I think we'd feel a little bit better about attestation.
All right.
I'm sorry.
You're going to rest your case?
Yes, but I really don't think I made a great case for him.
Well, I'm going to deliberate for a bit, and I'll make my ruling after race 5.
Right, okay.
Okay, so a popular name in the sports world in Toronto is Domi. Now, the pronunciation of the horse we're going to focus on here is Domi, I am told.
Yep.
And this is Little Red Domi. And probably one of our favorite maiden races of last season was back last November the 23rd, right here at Woodbine. And it just goes to show you, never crumple up your ticket. That's the best piece of advice.
You know what's the funniest? I remember this race because, okay, first of all, here he is. You're going to see him. He's second to last at this stage. And watch him. This is actually really fun. So at this stage, I'm walking through the paddock because I've kind of given up on him here in the studio. So I'm walking through the paddock because I'll probably go in, take a bathroom break, that kind of a thing. And I looked up at the TV before I walked into where the race office used to be. Forget it. He's done.
Yep.
I came back and I looked at the board to see who won. I said, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So watch this move from this horse as he gets to the outside. I think everybody kind of gave up on him too. It was a bit of a joke, to be honest. I mean, we're all laughing now at the trip that he had, but wow. And then he came back the next start out and he was able to win again.
40.
Now, he didn't give us a heart attack like he gave us the first start out because he sat in a much closer position. But here's the thing, he's got speed that I believe he can run down in this race. You're going to see some speed from horses like possibly Summer Commander, It's Time to Shine. The new Maybe can be speedy in this race too. And with that and the fact that yesterday closers did so well, closers and stoppers did so well on the program, he looks much more impressive. I just absolutely love this horse. And Domi, I believe, is Don Romeo's grandson?
Nephew or something? Yeah, so it's some relation.
He's a young man, a little boy.
Yeah, and they had a winner yesterday here at Woodbine. Surprise, all of Kevin Notard's horses are winning.
That's the other thing.
Silent Sky.
Just don't leave any Kevin horses off the ticket. That's the best advice we can give you. Yep. Never gets old.
Okay, my next one is, why are there so many songs about rainbows?
Okay, Kirby.
And what's on the other side? Anyways,
It's very good. It's very good.
That's we're going to talk about Awesome Rainbow in here, race number 7 on the program. We're going to go 6. And the one thing that I've really been thrilled to see that we've seen so far this season is horses that have gone from 3 to 4 improved considerably, and I'm hoping this horse improved last year from 2 to 3 because it did show some ability last year.
And the other thing too I recall is that he was a pretty big 2-year-old, like big, right?
Yeah.
So here's his race. Now this is a bit of a heartbreaker if you own him. This was the Frost King back on October the 20th. Leo's aboard, and you can see it's a traffic marred trip for this horse. Like, I'm sure Leo wishes he could do it all over again because because he's a big guy. He's not able to get through, and he wants to get through. And don't forget, he's a 2-year-old, so you're asking him to do something that's a little scary going in between horses. We talked about that on yesterday's program, but once he was able to kind of shake loose and get rolling, it's a huge, huge effort from him to end up finishing in the second spot. The winner was a horse named Unbridled Weather, and I remember talking to Angus Fontaine when we were walking across the racetrack, and I said, you got lucky, buddy. Go back and watch the replay, and you'll find out that if this 2-horse was able to get, like the designer trip, he would have likely won this race. He's a real fun horse to watch, and I think today we'll see what he does. He has a new rider aboard. It's Rafael Hernandez who will take over, and I think there's a few horses in this race, Jeff, that have some high hopes for this season. You know, the possibility of maybe even some King's Plate runners, at least at this stage in the game, that are going to be starting off their 3-year-old campaigns.
Yeah, and again, just like one of our races yesterday, a slew of first-time geldings in the program too. 4 of them in this race, if my math is correct.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you're right, buddy.
I'm looking for the sound effect. There we go.
Maybe I should just get an air horn in here.
Yeah. Remember when you had your bike and you had it was like a tennis ball and you...
No, I
Whatever.
lived on a concession, okay? A gravel road. There was no such thing as riding your bike anymore.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, Horse of the Year time. Let's talk little patches, shall we? Mm-hmm. And we had some eyes in the sky the last time this horse worked. Mm-hmm. And this is Patches of Houlihan. And the one thing that Patches got into a bit of a bad habit with last season was the old drifteroo.
Yep, especially on that grass race. Because we laughed about that like he was going out to get a hot dog, right?
If you want to see a horse work, you will not see too many work as well as this horse did last time out. And we're going to show you the work from back on April the 25th. And here he is now, our intrepid eye in the sky.
And Sophia's aboard. That's
Correct.
Important to note too.
And what I like is obviously he goes straight as an arrow in here, which is a huge plus. Mm-hmm. But she even gives the horse a bit of a tap right at the wire, just to make sure that he got a good gallop out in here. But wait till he straightens out in here, and this is when you're going to see him really come on and finish this work effectively.
Here's something that we know about this too. This was a day after the original workout was scheduled. So I know the work shows on the 25th, but it was originally scheduled for the 24th. And from what I understand, there was an incident on the track and they were bringing him on the track and they had to take him off, right? So they did the work the next day, correct?
Look at him here, he's perfect.
Oh, he just flies.
See, to me, his work got delayed because he had to be crowned Horse of the Year and then come back and do this.
Look at her though, go to the stick.
So she just asked right there, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's what Bob wanted.
Yeah.
That Bob said, you know, when you get to the wire, you give it, because the gallop out is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Do you remember what the gallop out time was? I don't remember, but I know it was sharp.
11 change and then
10. It was really fast, because when we came in that day to work, that was the Friday, right before opening day. When we came in that day, all the chatter upstairs was about that workout.
Yeah. And you know what? He's gonna have to have his range shoes on, because you got a multiple Salvador winner and Filo de Ariana. You got a Kevin horse, and I'm a gambler. It's not a gimme. This is not a tap-in by any means.
Well, hey, it's like the other day. Everybody goes, "Oh, Torpedo Anna, right?"
Yeah. That's why we run the race, my friend. That's why we run the race. So courtesy of our eye in the sky for that workout. So let's get to race number 10 now on the program. And the starting gate will have a 12-pack in it.
Yeah, it was originally going to have a 14-pack, but a couple of scratches in that race, so it gets us down to a field of 12. We're taking the 4 and the 13 out, both of the DePaulo horses. And there's first-time starters in here. The 1, the 5, the 8, and the 12 are all first-time starters. And a barn that's very well represented in this race is Steve Churkoff. He's got a couple of horses in here. Now, one of them that, you know, you go, wow, was this Vintage Ring. This is the 3-horse in this race. What's the shocker about him? They claimed him for $100,000.
Do you have to pay tax in Kentucky?
That's a good question. I know you do here.
Yeah.
I've never claimed a horse in Kentucky, but my parents, who live in Kentucky, were kind of explaining this to me maybe last year or the year before. They were saying, you know, they write these $100,000 claiming races that are maiden events in a way to keep the $2.5 million babies in maiden special weights.
You're not going to get like a Godolphin in there.
Exactly. Like, this is like a little, I don't want to say it's a step down, Jeff, but it's an opportunity to leave out those really expensive babies and give others a chance, maybe equal out the field a little bit, but they took him for 100. Now, here's the disappointing thing. He didn't run good. I'd be a little worried, you know, after I dropped $100,000. Now, I've used the 9, Arundel in the top spot for Sid with Pietro aboard, and then I used the 10, which is the first time, the 10 Beach Cricket, because it's Kevin Medard.
Keep an eye on Our Lady. That's an interesting first-time starter that Patrick's riding for conditioner Steve Churkoff. Yeah.
And I will say, too, you see an expensive price tag, $163,000 last year, and the year before, Bolt Doros were hot at the sales.
Yeah, yeah. What was there was a show that I watched as a kid, World Around Sports or Sports?
Oh, Wide World of Sports.
Wide World of Sports. Yeah. That's what we're going to do right now. That's what this segment's called.
Okay.
Yes. Out of town. Wide World of Sports. We're going to go all over the place in here. Let's first stop off at Louisville, and we'll talk about John Burness.
Isn't this awesome?
Simply in front. Amazing. Picks up a big victory in the Churchill Downs Distaff, and this is the second big race this horse has won. Won a big one at Kentucky Downs, and wins this one here, and now has earnings of over $1.8 million.
Isn't that insane? And again, you know, the other thing is, both times this horse has won big stakes races, John wasn't there.
Yep.
Right? John was here at Woodbine. So, you know, that had to be so exciting. When we did see him in the paddock, he had the phone like glued to his face.
She's not for sale!
Yeah, but you know, as a broodmare down the line,
I know.
you know, and especially considering the fact that he has such a huge operation, he might want to keep her as a broodmare.
The ebbs and flows of the sport, then his horse gets scratched at the gate.
Exactly. But then I'm thinking, I think I said this to you yesterday, if I had to give that up, if they said, well, here's the deal. You got to have one get scratched at the gate, but then you're going to win a stake. I'd be okay with it.
Absolutely. What about the Prince, 2-year-old champion, runner-up in the King's Plate last season, my boy Prince, a freshly minted new gelding.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Survives a duel up here, and the final time of the race was actually very quick, too.
When we watched this stretch drive together, you and I, we thought for a minute, this 5's going to get him, right? But no, he just kept on going. And even for a minute, I thought the 7 was going to get to him, too, at a big, big price. He's 22-1. But wow, great effort from my boy Prince. Mark Cassidy, of course, conditioning him. He was a hero here. I wonder if we'll see him back.
107-2 they went
Whoo-wee.
there. So that's horse race time. Yeah, will we see him back?
Yeah.
Probably. I would think
hope
so.
so,
At some point this season. But what a career he's had. Now a stakes winner 2, 3, and 4.
You know, the other thing too is you think to yourself, I wonder why they gelded him. You know, because you know he might have been a good little Ontario stallion, but then maybe he was hard to handle. And sometimes, honestly, they just need to be gelded.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a little uncomfortable for them too. You know,
yep,
so
that's what I mean.
That's a possibility. But it'll be like December the 14th, I'll still be giggling about that.
Right. Hey, you know who we don't have in that pack, but we should mention? Kazushi Kimura winning the stake race yesterday for $1 million. And an Ivan Dallas spread horse to boot. I mean, this whole room, I think, was pretty excited to see that.
Was awesome
and too, like you had said as well, he had lost the mount because he had a broken leg. And the fact that he was able to get it back again was really, really special. He had a huge smile yesterday.
Well, we could have done it, but Mike, our producer, is very stringent about the time that he provides us. In fact, he's pulling out his hair because the clock's not even going right now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about plays of the day, and we'll dissect the Kentucky Derby, what exactly took place.
Love horse racing? HPIBet.com is Canada's leader in online horse betting. Access thousands of live races from hundreds of tracks worldwide instantly. Enjoy the most advanced betting tools like AI Smart Picks and exclusive cashback rewards you won't get anywhere else. Join today and get up to $100 in free bets. Get the ultimate horse betting experience with HPIBet.com.
Welcome back to the show. It is time for Play of the Day time. And Lisa Blow's got a little twinkle in her eye in that picture, which maybe means she's going to go 4 for 4.
I hope so. I love Little Red Dommy on today's program. In fact, I'd like to meet Dommy today, if possible, because I think he wears a red hat when he goes out as well. Awesome Rainbow, I say please include him in your exotics. You never really know what he's capable of today. I've been waiting for Cotton, feels like since last year, so I'm going to use this horse as my best bet of the day. And of course, the multi-leg single is Patches. But I mean, come on.
Well, it's mine too.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, if you can find a key somewhere.
Yeah, like I'm not calling myself a chalk-eating weasel, but yeah, I might be a bit of. Yeah.
You can call me a chalk-eating weasel. Look at my best bet price right now on the board.
Well,
1 to 5. Valerian Sky. My value play is Gizmo's BFF. That's the impossible fourth race. I like that one a little bit in there. Yeah. Now I may have caught my upset prospect, but this horse is getting a lot of press tonight, so I don't think tonight. There we go, harness.
You're still thinking you're in harness?
Today, so thus we might not get a price on that one, and my multi-leg single is going to be Patches O'Houlihan. Cotton, that's where Ron's going to go with his best bet. Cotton's not 2-1 on the morning line, is I think that horse is bigger. No, it's bigger than that.
I don't think so.
I think it's like 5-1.
Yeah.
But it might be 2 to. It is 2-1?
Jeez. Okay.
Wow, because what did I make it up? So was I?
Were you
was
drinking,
I like half
Jeff?
asleep when I did my picks? Which is quite possible. Wow, apologies to the crew upstairs. I thought the horse was a bigger price.
Well, you never know. I mean, hey, he might be, the Drexel horse could be the favorite there.
Yeah.
That's possible. We'll see.
Austin Hines back training, and his big horse, Mad Dog and Joe, has made it onto the Clocker reports off the big work at the end of April in 1 minute and 3. And look who is second there, horse. You're quite a fan of that being Awesome Rainbow.
I like him today. And here's this thing. He's outworked Shinigami. That's interesting. And gets Hernandez here today, which is a move as well. Last year it was Leo Salas who was aboard. But one thing that Ernie points out here is that he was training just like he did before his very first lifetime start. I want to see him here today too, because like I said, he was a big horse as a 2-year-old, and I'm sure they're kind of excited about what could happen in his 3-year-old campaign.
So let's look at a couple of Clocker horses, Mad Dog and Joe, and Awesome Rainbow. Mad Dog and Joe should be a good price. So I was talking with Kelly Regan yesterday, and Ron Gierking as well upstairs in the 6-4 when I was watching the Derby, and I said, I wonder how many chart callers there are to do the Derby.
Oh, yeah.
Because like, especially on a sloppy track like yesterday, like this race had to be
how long does it take them to do it?
Yeah. You got to write like an encyclopedia in here. So the start, obviously the inside, the one horse is going to cause all kinds of problems in here. But the winner is going to come from post position number 16 in here, and does not get out of the gate all that effectively. In fact, we're right back here. Here's Sandman, who we liked.
Yeah, and he got a lot of mud kicked in his face. You know what I was the most surprised of, Jeff, is that, okay, and I think everybody who was watching this at home or watching it here on the track thought the same thing. When they turned for home, I couldn't tell you where Sandman was because he didn't look gray anymore. He was covered in mud.
And watch the gate in here because
this is interesting.
This horse takes a step and almost went down. And just watch this. Junior Alvarado, it's going to get a little tight and right about here.
Just a little bobble.
Just a little bit, yeah.
But enough to put your heart in your throat.
This is the Derby, and I almost went down in here, but there's no panic. And what I love about NBC, and because they have such a big budget, is they have like 19 ISO cameras looking at all these horses, and I just think it's cool how the race is eventually going to unfold. Let's get to the stretch now, because it looks as if the eventual winner of this race is going to be Journalist.
Yeah, he was making a move, and I was watching, and I said, watch out, this 8 horses come, and you know, he makes a great effort here. You can see him up here. But tell me where Sandman is, Jeff, because I can't find him.
Oh, Sandman he's
I know, but he ends up finishing 7th.
He's right there.
He finishes 7th. Now, does that look like a gray horse to you? Because I'm looking for him, right? Yeah, this is a great finish.
This horse ran a monster race.
Yes.
To finish in the 4th place position. Got totally sawed off at the start.
Wait a second. And someone in the mix there drew in off the also list.
Beatza.
Yes.
Beatza, yeah.
Right? So.
But this is cool. I mean, I just love the ISO shots because it just tells you so much about how the race unfolds. And, you know, clearly Journalist got the first jump, but this horse covered a lot of ground on this. It's somewhat interesting because Good Cheer had to cover a lot of ground too yesterday, or on Friday's Carter race, and was able to win. But here's a look at the ISO, and like this is a good horse going by, really good horse too. So I kind of hope they do have a rematch when it comes to the Preakness. I'm not sure exactly what the game plan's going to be.
I kind of heard Bill Mott say something like, "Look, everybody wants to see us go to the Preakness."
Yeah,
I think he will. My other thing, like I said to you, do you think maybe Sandman will go? I mean, he ends up finishing 7th.
Another thing is a lot of people are saying, "Well, we're going to wait for the Belmont." Don't forget, because I did forget this. That's a great shot.
Yeah. So many people.
Yeah. Don't forget too that the Belmont's only at a mile and a quarter again this year because it's at Saratoga.
It's at Saratoga.
Cool shot here.
This is the best shot.
Yeah. So you got Journalism and you've got the eventual winner of the race as well, and they're gonna. So I like. This is a real cool shot because you can tell how fast they're moving, and look at he's really picking them up right now. journalist. Here's Sandman back here.
To use a harness term, that was some
Yeah.
live cover.
And here's the Juddmonte horse, who's absolutely flying late.
Yeah.
So, but it was good, right? Like very formful, very, very worthy winner. You know. And
but one thing I saw, the distance between the winner and the last place horse was almost 60 lengths.
Wow.
I think it was 58 lengths.
Yeah.
So that means when this horse was crossing the wire, somebody was almost just turning for home.
Yeah.
So, you know.
That was my pick.
But yeah, I mean, look, they had to deal with a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
Like I was saying on the show as well, a lot of those horses have never heard that kind of a sound.
Yeah.
And they have to do not only that, but the crowd that's there as well. They handled it all like champs.
Now, if you need a loan, the two people to see are Robert Geller and Ernie Perry, because they cashed in tickets yesterday. So they didn't get rich, but you know, Robert might be able to take it to say, what, maybe like McDonald's for a dinner for two?
Maybe upstairs he'll bring some grapes.
Ernie Perry, he cashed a couple of bucks as well. So
he gets steaks, you know that.
Yes.
He brags about it.
Hopefully you cashed a couple of tickets as well. And don't forget, 2 weeks away from the Preakness and 5 weeks away from the Belmont at Saratoga. Which still feels very weird to say.
I know. And we're still freezing here in Canada.
That's right. We're going to take a break when we come back. Horse have arrived inside the paddock area for race number 1. Happy Derby Hangover Day from all of us here at Woodbine.